Hello and welcome back to another video, and today we have the top 5 best side deck cards to side in May 2020 Master 5 format. So Secret Service has recently dropped and it has heavily impacted the meta by releasing decks like Adamantipator and Eldlik, and this has affected all the best side deck cards along with Orcus coming back and all of these new decks being brought back to the meta. And I really think this is an amazing format, and these are the best cards to play in this format to stop the other decks. Basically, in case you guys don't know what a side deck is, a side deck is something that you can put up to 15 cards inside, and then basically what happens is that in between, after game 1, you can take out cards from your deck and then put in cards equal to the amount that you took out from your side deck, and then you can shuffle and then it's part of your deck then. And then that way you have access to other cards and you can switch mid-game. So side decks are definitely a very essential and important part of Yu-Gi-Oh! And these are the best cards to play in them. Okay, so for the first card, we have System Down. So System Down, basically its effect is that you can pay 1,000 life points for cost and then banish all machine-type monsters your opponent controls and that are in their graveyard. So this card is absolutely nuts against Orcus, and Orcus has recently come back with Mechanite Gearsu along with the scrap cards, and I definitely think that System Down is an amazing card to be playing in your side deck, and that is why it is my number 5 pick. Okay, for my next pick, I have Royal Decree. So Royal Decree takes my number 4 spot because basically what it does is that you can negate all other trap effects on the field. So basically this card is nuts against Eldlik because other than like a couple of monsters, the whole deck is basically traps unless you're playing the Invoke version, but still like it relies heavily on traps, and Royal Decree completely shuts down that aspect of the deck other than the graveyard effect. So I think that if they activate the graveyard effect to set more traps, and they can't like even use the traps because it negates it, then it absolutely sucks, Eldlik, because you don't have access to cards like Conquistador and Huckler to interrupt your opponent's plays. And I definitely think this card is absolutely nuts to side, especially since like it's such an old card, and I think it's an amazing tech. Test it out, see if you like it, but I highly recommend trying this card out, and that is why Royal Decree takes my number 4 spot. Cool. Next up we have Evenly Matched. So Evenly Matched takes my number 3 spot because Evenly Matched is an absolutely broken card. Basically at the end of the battle phase, if your opponent controls more cards than you do, you can make your opponent banish cards from their field face down so they control the same number of cards you do. And then if you have no cards, you can activate it from your hand without setting it the previous turn. So this card is nuts because it basically like ruins your opponent's advantage. Let's say you have like no cards and then you do activate it from your hand, and your opponent had like 6 monsters on field and let's say like 2 back row. That means that they would have to get rid of like 8 cards and banish them all face down, so it's basically like they're inexistent because it's face down, not even face up. And then they only have 1 card left. So this card makes the game so much fairer that like they'll regret not OTKing you if they couldn't. And then it's such an amazing card to just stop your opponent. And then Adamantipator, for example, if you force out all the negates already, then this card's nuts because it just breaks their board because they don't have any more responses and they end on so many monsters. And then like Eldlik, all the traps, you just banish all of those. And then like, I don't know, Pendulum, like it destroys everything. And then like don't even get me started on Orcus because it banishes face down, so it's not even to the graveyard, so they can't recur it or anything. So I think that this card is absolutely nuts and definitely an amazing card to be siding, and that is why Evenly Matched takes my number 3 spot. Okay, so for my next card, my number 2 spot is indeed Dark Ruler No More. So this card is an absolutely insane card because what it does is that it negates the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls until the end of the turn. And for the rest of the turn after it resolves, your opponent takes no damage, and you cannot respond to it with monster effects. So it's basically like a makeshift spell speed 4 that just negates your opponent's board. So this card is so good right now because of Adamantipator. So Adamantipator is right now all over the market, all over the place. You literally won't play a tournament if there isn't an Adamantipator deck in it. And I think that, so Dark Ruler, they don't end on any spell or trap negates, so it just completely destroys their board. Like, basically, they end on negates in Dweller or something like that, right? Dark Ruler no more just stops everything, and then they can't respond to your combos, and you just OTK them. It's way too easy to use this card and then play around Salamangreat, because this card, not Salamangreat, this card and Adamantipator is basically just an instant win. And then, like, that's not even the only magic that's good. Like in Dragon Link, for example, it stops all of their negates too. In Pendulum, it's amazing as well. And I think that this card is definitely a very, very, very good card to try out, especially because of all the Adamantipator and Go Adamantipator variants running around. So definitely try out this card, Dark Ruler No More, for this format. On to the honorable mentions. Before I bring you to my number one spot, I have both Artifact Lancia and Chaos Hunter. So both of these cards are amazing cards that sadly were just short of making the list. And so they are both for the Orcus matchup and decks that banish a lot. So Chaos Hunter, what it does is that when your opponent special summons a monster, you can discard a card and special summon it from your hand. And then it has the Omni effect of your opponent cannot, or not Omni effect, just a lingering effect of your opponent cannot banish cards while it's on the field. So basically, you can summon it during your opponent's turn the moment they special summon. And if you're playing against Orcus, then it's GG Nori, because they can't banish anything anymore. Therefore, they just have to pass, because Chaos Hunter prevents them from doing that. And on top of that, Chaos Hunter is a 25 beat stick. That is a dark, so like it's also for lure. So it's absolutely insane. And then Artifact Lancia is also a very popular choice, because basically you can discard it and during your opponent's turn, or you can discard it in either player's turn, and neither player can banish cards for the rest of the turn that you use it. So it's a hand trap to stop banishing. So this card is also insane. And then it has an effect that doesn't really come up, but I mean it can. You can set it actually in your spell and trap zone, and if your opponent pops it, then you can special summon it from your graveyard. And then so basically, both of these cards are very good. And I personally like Chaos Hunter just a bit more, because it gives me a body on field, and it lasts forever as long as it's on the field. Because just like your opponent cannot banish cards, it's just so good forever. And like it's 2500, and this can end games. This with World Sword too, that's an over 2000 attack, that's done. And Artifact Lancia, I think Chaos Hunter is just a tiny bit better in my opinion. But of course, Lancia is also an amazing card that you guys should not sleep on. These are my honorable mentions right before I get into my number one spot. So get ready and get hyped, because this is my number one spot for the May 2020 Master 5 format. Ojama Red, obviously. No, I'm joking. As much as we would like it to be Ojama Red, sadly, it is Lightning Storm, this new card that came from Ignition Assault. That's an absolutely insane card that is not only a Raigeki, but a Heavy Storm Duster, not Heavy Storm Duster, Harpy's Feather Duster. And it's both of these cards, and it's an absolutely nuts card with an insane artwork that I really think somebody should try and paint, because that would look awesome. Basically, if you control no face-up cards, you can activate one of these effects, which are destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls, or destroy all spell and traps your opponent controls. So this card is absolutely insane against Adamantipator, it's absolutely insane against Outlook, it's absolutely insane against Salamangreat, it's absolutely insane against Pendulum, it's absolutely insane against every single deck, including Ojamas. And then so I definitely think that this is one of the best cards to play in this format and in general, even like main deck. This card, if you're playing a going second deck, I literally think that this card is so good in so many decks, and that there's absolutely no reason not to play it unless it's too pricey, because then by all means don't play it, because it is sitting around the $100 to $150 mark as I'm speaking right now. So it's definitely a very pricey card, but at the same time, if you do get your hands on it, it's definitely worth every single penny. That is the end to the list, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Join my Discord server. The link is in the description. And once again, all of these cards are, in my opinion, the best. Nothing is guaranteed to be the best. But once again, these are just, in my opinion, what I think to be the best ones. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.